Monday's the 15th, yes.
Okay.
What time? 6?
6:30
Mm-hmm.
for the special adjourned meeting. Better write that down.
So what date you,
September 15th, 6:30, the adjourned meeting.
okay,
It's for the employees only.
for the
That's
purpose of
everything.
hiring the
New
new
for our employees, that's the only thing that will be discussed at that meeting.
Can we do that at 6?
Huh?
Can we do that at 6?
We can do it at 6 o'clock.
6, please.
My port of wisdom by then.
Anything else, Henry?
I have things for under new business.
All right, move on, finance, insurance, special projects, nothing?
I did get back into looking at that sign ordinance again. We talked about, but nothing yet, but it's out to review with Andrew. And also, Andrew's suggestion, and after we talked to some people, was to go before the Armstrong, not before the Armstrong Planning Committee, but contact them and see if they have any information on that.
Well, I can tell you, I'm down talking to them about, you know, if there's anything that they knew we could do.
About the sign?
About the sign.
All right.
Basically.
Then I'll have what I can to it, and Andrew look at it and see that we haven't overstepped their bounds.
Yeah. All right, Public Works.
Well, the guys have been good, they put that catch basin in down there near Crescent.
Residential.
Residential. Yeah, one of the crumbled up there, so they bought a cast one, put it in, it's all done. And, yeah, they're just doing, they're out their other business and doing good. And I'd like to thank Henry, he does a lot. I guess whenever I'm not there, I'm glad he's the second in command. And,
We're waiting on the water company to fix 2 cuts in the road, one on Crescent and one on Harrison and Crescent, where we have a water leak. There had been a water leak there for about 4 months. And it was a private water line which was put in back in 1944 to Guy Woodring's house. He's where Rod Morris rebuilt that multi-million-dollar re-renovation.
Okay.
Well, there was an 1.25-inch copper line put back in during the war because he was the only house there. So we have cut up the street at 2 different locations, and they're supposed to come in and repair it, and that'll take care of that. Do you have any, we can go to street bids?
No, we can,
Okay, on the new business.
unfinished business. All right, buildings, any other buildings?
Well, I don't know if this has anything to do with the building, but possibly. The sign is in progress. It should take within the next 2 weeks. Are we getting the borough workers to install that, or are we letting them install it?
I would leave Joe to do them installed.
That's, okay, because it's $1,300 plus tax, and that's not with installation.
Installation wouldn't be that much.
So go ahead and let them install it.
So you still under the building?
Yeah.
All right, I've conferred with Senate Engineering and I've conferred with our attorney. We have those attic steps, which are broke. Mike has called them and they said they're not responsible for them. They didn't break them. I've asked Andrew about the 2-year warranty on the building. Yeah. You might as well shut down a commode too.
Is that not in writing?
No, as far as I know, it isn't.
I'll have to actually review the actual contract that we went through with them and the baseball on it. I mean, if you, Henry said, what, it might cost $400 or something
It'd be
to.
about approximately $400 just to get the treads. We don't need the whole apparatus.
I'll tell you what, that thing is one of the chintziest set of steps I think I've seen in my life. I've seen pull down steps that are,
Wood.
well, built, yeah, metal sides, wooden steps. I'd say, you know, let's get a good set. Let's not repair a bad set.
Just to, I'm almost positive in the original bid, you emailed me all that information. I'm 99% sure it's in there about the 2-year warranty.
I've heard that everybody says it's supposed to be.
The thing is that they're denying that they're the ones that did it, so the only way to solve that is if you get into a legal battle with them, you're going to spend a lot more than $400 on that.
Well, I think it's probably all our fault. Before we accepted ownership of this building, we should have come up here and went over it with a fine tooth comb before we took ownership of it. It's our fault, we didn't, we should have. I mean, we had those meetings, but, you know, that was just to look at stuff being repaired.
Yeah, there's other things.
Before they actually turned the keys over to us, we should have come up, went through it, and we'd probably found those steps and said, well, hey, you know, this is your
You might not have
fault.
noticed those until somebody went up them.
Somebody would
I
have,
looked at them and
if
I
we would have
noticed
come in and
them.
looked, somebody would have pulled them down.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another thing, the shelf in the interrogation room. The end caps are not on the shelf. They weren't finished. The piece of laminate over there to be put on, but somebody's gonna have to put it on and know how to cut it to form fit it on the ends.
Yeah, we can look, I think between us, we can
Yeah,
figure that out.
that's one other thing. Other thing is, we did have a leak in the roof, right above your head. You see the big
Yeah,
spot?
thanks,
I asked Andrew, if there was a, 2-year guarantee on this building. If there is, nobody except the contractor can repair it. Well, it was repaired by one of our borough employees and one of our council people. So, really, it would null and void that contract. As soon as you do something to a building which is under warranty, it's like you buy an appliance and you do something and take it back and say it's broke. They ain't gonna do it. So, it was fixed by Kenny and Rick. I have some blocker, which I will bring up and spray on that so it can be painted.
It's not make sense.
It has not leaked since. It was in one of those driving range and they went up and it was one of the roof vents that
What's it called?
wasn't sealed down properly. Another thing with the building, in my opinion, and I had another guy look at it, there is not enough ventilation in that attic. Those are either 20 or 30-year shingles up there. He says if they last 10 years with the amount of heat that is up there, it's like opening up an oven at home and you get that blast of air in your face. That's what it's like when you pull those steps down.
They did not use continuous screen vent in the.
They did, but it's only
Okay.
about that. So sometime we probably should have 6 vents cut on the back side so it's not shown from the front. And get a decent contractor in here who can cut them in, flash them in, and go from there. But if we want this shingles to last at least 25 years or so, we gotta get rid of that heat. It was over 100 and some degrees up in there on a 80-degree day. And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we had 88, no 90-degree days. But there's no power ventilation out there. There's no in-gable ventilation. There's just soffit ventilation.
Yeah, at least get some end gable in there to begin with.
We could do that, but we need
But more, yes,
more.
that'd be a start.
We need to get that air out. We have a piece of machinery right above your head, air conditioning. It's a condensation cooling unit. And it works hard because it's so hot up there. So this is something that we're gonna have to look into. So we can talk about that. We can do that in cool weather and go from there. The next thing is, I'll pass this around where the paper clips are. There's 2 different type of mailboxes. We've talked about possibly cutting through the door. I don't want to ruin the doors. These are pedestal mailboxes, which we can put between the 2 doors, bolt them to the concrete. So I'll pass that around. You can make your judgment. They range anywhere from $400 down to almost $300. And this company, these are all aluminum, with aluminum posts and so forth. And the borough employees can mount that either. And we will get the numbers for this building, 229, the mailing address for here, instead of everything going to Carter's house. I mean, she's been nice enough to do that, but I think it should be under the proper registry, West Canyon Borough, 229 Arthur Street.
And also, we were approached by Bernie Boswell Senior from the Water Authority. They would like also to have their mail come to this address, not to this address, but to their address, to have a separate box for them. So is there a double box in there with
There
it
could be a
too?
double box,
And then we can split the cost with the Water Authority.
whatever.
I mean, it depends on everybody at council thinks, but
Do they want the 229 Water Authority here?
yeah, I believe so, but it's gonna say Water Authority at this
We could just
address.
lose one box and just
Yeah.
sort the mail
I'd
out.
rather keep them separate though, since they're 2 separate
Yeah, if we can get
entities.
a divided box.
Well, there's 2 boxes, in the stand big, you can order a stand to mount 2 boxes on.
Anything else?
Yeah, there's 2.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's new business. This is new business. I think that's all the locksmith. He fell asleep on the job. I called him this morning. He forgot all about us. That he's going to be here at 10 o'clock on Wednesday evening. And I will be here with him to go through and get keys. And I think that every council should have a key to the front door. There's going to be enough keys made that will take care of. The police department, as of now, will be a lock section all by itself. Carly's office and that automatic door will be a lock section. So nobody can get into the office or the so-called police department, the front and rear doors, and the conference door, the computer room, and the furniture room will all be one key. So going from almost 32 keys right now down to 10 regular keys plus a duplex that I'll have made up. And everybody on the council, I think, should have a key to get into the building. And I think the senior citizens burden should be given a key, because none of us, I'm around, yes, Eddie's around, but they hold their meetings, and they had a key before to the school, that they can come in that front door there or this back door and have their meetings and so on.
They're gonna start using it in October, Bertie? When are you gonna start in October, you're gonna start using it?
I'd like to start this month.
Okay.
I went up to Bertie's house this morning, brought everything down. Everything that they have is in those cupboards somewhere. But there is still vacant room if we need to put some stuff of ours in there. But right now, we don't have anything to put in there. And I helped Bertie get this all arranged, and we can go from there.
All right, thanks.
So then you'll be getting, we have to use it then this month, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
She will get a key. She may be the first one after me.
All right, shade tree. Anything in the shade tree? All right, moving to unfinished business. Before we start on the agenda, one thing I'd like to say was brought up. It was brought up last meeting about the Butler Petroleum. Mikey brought it up, the whole. I have contacted DEP. I filed a complaint. They got back with me today and said that there was an investigator assigned to it, and I'll be hearing from them in the next few days to gather more information and let me know what's going on with it. So that's
I have something as well, but I would say, when was the last meeting, the recess meeting? What was the date of that?
August.
When, anyways, I called, I think it was earlier, I think it was the 13th. But anyways, I think maybe the day after that, 14th or the 15th, I called Butler Petroleum again. I asked to speak to someone different than I had been speaking to because she wasn't getting anything done. So they put me in contact with Mike Tappy, is his name. Well, I spoke with him that day, I basically let him know that council was not happy with their progress on fixing their property. And he said he would have to speak to a higher up and he would get back to me. Didn't hear from him, called him again today. They apparently patched me through to his cell phone, and he told me that he tried to contact an engineer, left a message for an engineer who hasn't returned his phone call. How true is that? I don't really know at this point, but he knows that we're unhappy and the council isn't going to stop until.
It's turned, like I said, it's turned into DEP now. Like I said, they left me a message. I was waiting to hear back from them. Finally left me a message today when I was on the phone when I come out from work, and it said investigator Kurt Smith was his name. Investigator's been assigned to the case, and he will contact me in the next few days to get more information and let me know what's going on. And one other thing. The retention pond over between Eschno's and AutoZone that needs cut. I called the DEP because Officer Gehagen suggested to me, said to me after the meeting that he didn't think he could cut them that often. She told me you can cut them every week if you want to. There's no, she said, if you want to cut.
That's Ashton's property?
I think that's Eschno's retention.
That's a runoff from the building.
So is that who would know it then, them?
They have
They have to let them
to
know.
they'll have to get somebody in there, probably the big weed here, and knock it down.
Did somebody inform them that they can mow it?
Not yet, that's why I wouldn't have Officer Gehagen notified. He was concerned about, he thought that you could only mow it so many times a year. That's not the case. You can mow it every week if you want to. All right.
Okay, just one other thing. Again, I have to back up here a little bit. Everybody has noticed that over at Flynn's, that catch basin has been taken care of. They put a new catch basin in, new drains, and blacktopped their whole driveway. That was after we'd sent them a letter, and we got a reply back saying that they were going to do something within a 15-day period, and they did do it. And I would like to commend them for taking care of a bad situation which has been there for over 2 years.
Did I just mention the roof property? Since we're updating things that have been reported. Chuck Roof's apartment on McKinley. After he, I believe, was contacted and he has, cut the grass. And he was over there a couple weeks ago and repaired one of the broken out windows. The other window doesn't look like it's been repaired. But in the meantime, another couple has moved in there, and they have a lot of stuff sitting out front, but I think the young couple has good intentions, and I don't know where they moved from. It just appears that they perhaps had a home somewhere, from the things that, her hanging baskets, everything, you know. And they're over there just working like little beavers.
So it's looking better.
And they're inside working. And I saw Chuck over there again today with one of his helpers, and he was taking him all around the building and telling him where to use the weed eater. So he is working on things. I don't know what the condition of inside the building is, like upstairs or anything. But I'm just saying, we did give him a warning, and he has been over there doing some things. And that's about all I know about it.
Okay, in conjunction with what you're saying,
Yeah,
the apartment that those couple are in,
yes.
the middle apartment, after a rain, is full of water all the time. It comes running down off the street, and there's a step into the building, at least 14 inches.
Which one is that, Henry?
The one further
right
north.
across, or is it the one, if I'm looking through my house,
It'd be to
is it the
your,
one here, the left,
it'd be to your right,
to my right?
To your
where the
right.
people just moved
just
in this
moved
week?
in. I was in that apartment,
Or you?
and I fell in because I didn't know there was that much of a drop going in.
That second door there, I think,
Yes,
is just
it
a
goes
step
way down,
down.
and that
I've never
apartment
been
had at
inside.
least 2 inches of water on it.
Oh,
The middle apartment, the upstairs ceilings were all falling off.
my. I've been told that.
That's for sure, I'll guarantee you that. There has to be either a leak in the roof and so on. I don't know how the ice cream shop doesn't get flooded out when it rains. If we had a code enforcement officer, none of those would have been rented out. to go
So you
through.
know, this middle door, upstairs,
Yeah,
it's usually standing open, and I
Yeah, it
don't
was
know
open
who
today.
opens that.
and it does not lock.
And I
it will not
understand that
close.
animals do go in there, and it's a bad condition in that building, but I have never seen it with my
You
own
don't wanna
eyes
go in.
inside, and I don't want to. No. But what could be done? That's the question.
Now, maybe this young couple will fix it up.
They are working like they really are.
Hopefully they
And,
do.
you know, a nice looking couple, and
Thing
they
is,
just
they'll
have
have
nice stuff.
to do it at their own expense. because
That's
you
what
will
I'm
not-
wondering.
Yeah, well, that's between them and the resident.
Why they would ever do it is beyond
Yeah.
me, if that's the condition.
But we will have to probably keep people out of that middle apartment.
Oh, I agree.
If we have to take it to the health board, I will take it to the health board
All
myself.
right,
Okay.
let's move on here. Okay, first up, award bid for salt shed. We got a Senate engineer. You get this?
Mr. President, you told me to wait about this technology update for the police department.
Yeah.
What am I going to get to say?
Well, we just started on finished business. As soon as we're done with this agenda here.
Well, the officer has to leave here, he should have been at 8 o'clock. He brought this to the council attention last week, and he needs updated IBM, and he's afraid that we're going to start getting fined for not submitting reports in the.
I haven't seen any. What's he need? I don't even know what he needs.
Wasn't he gonna get with the police committee?
I have no
The
idea.
quote's right there.
Let me see.
It's $2,400. You've been bringing it to your attention, and nothing's getting done.
What's it for, Jim?
Software, so he can make his
Oh, for
reports to
the
the state.
police, oh, I got you. Thank you.
Now, he's telling me, he's pushing the limits on how long he can put this stuff off. Huh?
Did you say Mrs. Police software for the police?
It was brought up here at the last
I
meeting.
know, but what if we don't keep more officers? And you can't take over the first year?
Have you seen this?
What happens if you don't have these reports to the state?
Uh,
Under Pennsylvania Vehicle Code 3751, it's called reports by police. We are required by the state of Pennsylvania to place in a timely manner of 15 days reports of accidents under investigation. We have 3 accidents that need to be reported to PennDOT. We cannot get online because we're on an unsupported system at this point in time. We are required by law to do so. We're also required under the 3751B portion to provide copies of those PennDOT approved reports to insurance companies or insurees so that they may settle their claims in a timely manner. We cannot do those because we cannot file the proper paperwork with PennDOT. Because the XP system, as we have stated since May, that is going to be unsupported and has now become unsupported. We also have the inability to be able to get onto the Pennsylvania criminal records portion and the FBI because they are unsupported systems also. We have to file for our regular paperwork with regard to the UCR reporting to the FBI and our compliances with the Pennsylvania Commission on Criminal Reporting.
Okay, wait, is this as a result of the Windows XP not being supported anymore, or are there new regulations in place, or how does this come about?
We don't have the support by the XP program, so we need to upgrade to a Windows 7 system, which is what that is, and also to upgrade the computers so that they can run that particular program, so that it will operate correctly.
That new computer that's still in the box, is that XP or is that Windows?
That's a Windows 7 home version.
So that will not work if you put this on there?
We need a business portion there so it can be supported. We also need to purchase what's called Sonic Wall. The Sonic Wall is the individual security so that whenever we get onto any of the state or federal sites, that it recognizes us as a police department and we have ability and authority to be able to be on there properly and function within their.
But this will go on that new computer, correct, also on?
Yeah, we go on all the, once you buy the license, you can, it's got so many that you can put it on.
I make a motion that we purchase the software that the police officers are needing.
Okay, motion on the floor, purchase of software for the police department. Second,
Yeah.
any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Bevington be able to do that?
Yeah, I will try to get him in schedule to do so.
That's
I
who
know
the
what
quote's
it's
from.
from.
That's who the quote's from, right?
Right.
That's who the quote's from.
Okay, Bevington, yeah.
There may be, we got the quote quite a while ago, so if there are any price increases, just the products, then we'll.
June 18th of this year, you had the quote.
Yeah,
So you're gonna take care of this tomorrow?
I can't get it.
Is that all right? That's all you need? Have a good night.
Thank you.
He gets off duty, get it.
All right, I'll move on, award bid for the salt shed for letter of recommendation from Senate Engineering. He called 3 references. One was Orrin of PennDOT stated that Blair Construction has worked as a subcontractor on several projects over the past few years. Projects completed include a salt shed building and storage building. There were never any problems with his work, and they would definitely use him again in the future if needed. Howard Foltz of PennDOT stated that Blair Construction has done work for them as well, and he has used them for his residential needs. He stated he does an excellent job and never had a problem with any of his work and highly recommends him. Jace Myers of Myers Well Service stated that Blair Construction has done excellent work for him in the past. Most recent project includes an 800 by 100 foot steel building. He stated that Blair had done all the work for the steel building from start to finish. He highly recommends him and is planning on using him next spring for his own residential work.
Good references.
So,
We didn't have
We gotta
any
get
additional
some shit
to
out.
these 4.
what's that?
When advertised, we didn't have any additional bids than the
We
original.
did.
You see, this is the lowest.
I know, it's 43,000.
Yeah.
And it came in with all three references, right? So you're recommending that probably the way to go.
Well, we
Yeah.
usually use our, part of our liquid fuels, the $9,900, and instead of doing this, the pavement this year, being it's so late into the year. or
We
just
got two
that-
bids we're gonna open for
Forgot
paving.
some of the
Yes,
things.
we're gonna finance the same line of credit we use for billing.
All right, with that said,
I'd like to make a motion, we accept, I can't see. Letter construction, for doing, building letter company to do the salt shed. We need that salt shed up ASAP, and, I'll make a comment about salt here after a while. Or, oh, we need a second.
second. Any questions?
Who's seconded?
Click. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Next, we're going to open bids for paving.
Instead of just an ask.
They didn't say this.
$5.50.
This is it.
Just-
Yeah.
Over by the racetrack. And, Russell Construction.
There are only two bids. The first bid is from Russell Standard Corporation. The address they have listed on the proposal is Pittsburgh.
You said Russell?
Russell Standard Corporation. Their bid is $34,800, and they do have a 10% bid bond as well.
Okay, that's 34.8 even?
Yes. This bid is from Hager Paving Incorporated from Strattonville, PA.
Is that who we used before?
Yeah, we use the new
What do you give, $7?
Total bid, $36,975. Also have a bid bond attached.
Okay. So your bids, but the problem is we only have $32,343 worth of fuels money.
Okay, I mean, another option, could we look at possibly redoing some of the storm drain culverts and boxes that are in poor shape? Replacing them with concrete?
Instead of paving.
Yes. I mean, we have a number of areas that are in very bad shape, which impacts the streets then later on.
I just want new tools for the borough.
Here's another, I guess I'm gonna say, problem. We gotta buy salt in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if push comes to shove, then, yeah, salt definitely over.
But what I'm saying is, I mean, we got enough money in liquid fuels that we can do, catch basins. But as far as paving, that's out of the question. We just don't have the money this year to do it.
So,
Yes.
In August, we had one bid in it from Holden. What was that amount of that bid?
I didn't even know it because we voted
We tabled.
to rebid. And then
Yeah.
we did it again.
And you can't
They
approve
didn't.
tonight,
No.
so we can't consider that at all.
no, because they didn't redo it.
No, they didn't rebid because we put it
I
out.
think that maybe we're supposed to be
Another thing, I mean, you see that, they redid it. Because so, at that point, can we just buy salt or do the catch basins?
I think that's about, because we do have a lot of catch basins.
And then, I mean, and what I is the street or public works thinking about buying precast concrete catch basins and having,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way we.
okay, have contractor install. Okay, yeah, that, I think that's the best.
Well, right now, we need to clean that.
We gotta clean the detail first.
Yeah, we have to clean.
So, we're gonna make a motion.
That's bad.
All right. Do I have a motion to reject the paving bids? Any? Second? Oh, you said one. All those in favor?
But we have to make sure we use our liquid fuel money or we'll lose it. Correct? No?
What's going on with the state grant?
All right. Okay, next up, in unfinished business, we got 3 bids for auditor to do the audit next year for the,
What about the personnel committee for the street department? What are you gonna?
I guess we don't have that yet, do we?
Oh, that's the issue that's coming up.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's Wednesday. Okay.
So,
We want to address the cleaning person.
we'll get these bids first. Get those out of the way. These 3,
Yeah.
we'll give them to Andrew.
What's this one?
Oh, okay. Oh, it's in our.
Lazy boys.
Should I give them copies?
Everyone should make one for everyone. Okay. The first bid is from Lori Griner, certified public accountant from Catania. And that bid is for a 1-year contract, $4,000. For a 3-year contract, $3,000 per year. This annual audit includes balance sheet, statement of revenues and expenditures, statement of cash flows, and auditor's opinion letter. Everyone back can look at a copy. Should put a bunch of things for everyone. So pass those around. She has references as well listed. Second bid is from Holsinger PC. They are based out of Wexford, PA. What they did was give an estimated fee for each of the next 3 years. 2014, $5,000, 2015, $5,000, 2016, $5,000. Last one is from De Blasio and De Blasio Associates, certified public accountants, and they're from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Again, they enclosed a 1-year proposal and a 3-year proposal as well. Their bid is in the amount of $5,000. This is for the single year.
You said it was a 3-year term also, though?
That's the one, I didn't read that one yet. Yeah, they sent a proposal for 1 year and 3 years. For the year of 2014, $4,500. 2015, $4,700. And for 2016, $4,900. And also, that does not include report production, word processing, postage, travel, copies, telephone. That's all in addition to. I mean, without sitting here, and these need to be reviewed, obviously, before
Before any decisions.
Right, so there's no surprises. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon? What's your name, say references?
I mean,
Let's see if I can-
client references.
Yeah.
Right.
they all include
2006.
biographical information
Yeah.
for all the CPAs that work there.
Now, this Lori Grenier, my question is she going to file the audit online and file it?
I would, I'd say when you're bidding on an item like this, that you should know that they need filed accordingly in the proper way. If not, you better be investigating it.
Yeah, well, I'm going with set balance sheet, statement of revenues, expenditures, statement of cash, whatever, you know, I mean, I would probably include all filings that need necessary, you know.
Yeah,
done.
we can clarify that clear. I confirmed with them a couple of times before, maybe they would
No,
Because it has to be done 30 days prior. It has to be acted on either next council or November.
Well, he's going to, we're going to do an another one for this meeting, right, so we can discuss it.
We're gonna recess.
Yeah, we're gonna sit there. Yeah, and then,
Well, I just assume let this go to October's meeting, everybody get a chance to look at it.
and maybe Andrew can have a follow-up at the recess meeting.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
can, maybe we can.
Yeah, give a little, I mean, we don't have to vote on it, then, but at least,
Yeah.
you know, positive or negative either way, and what his findings were.
Okay, we'll take that to the meeting. All right. Renting this building out, we're gonna need a rental agreement, because we can't rent it out to anybody. I had Andrew draw up a rental agreement. We've got to come up with a price, and one thing I told him, he did need to add in here is no alcohol beverages in here. But, I don't know if you can, I don't know how we get that around so everybody can see it. Can you email it?
Can you email it to us, please?
Yes.
Or email it to Carly, and Carly can send it to us, whichever, so we can review it.
Just going over it real quick, just one thing I see is we need to add no alcohol beverages.
No smoking.
And no smoking.
So, yeah, we need some of those smoking signs in here, we talked about that.
And another thing we've got to come up with for this agreement is what we're going to charge for rent. And maybe we can let this go to October meeting, but just from personal experience, Fire Hall, and Henry will vouch for this, whatever we rent it for has to include the cost of cleanup, and we're going to have our own person clean it up.
And you
Because
also
you
need,
can't-
you also need a security deposit.
Yeah, well, that's in the contract, because you can't rely on people cleaning up. And we, you know, Mickey knows that. They promise they're gonna clean up, and they end up paying somebody to clean it up anyhow.
Do we have a committee to discuss that, or are we all going to discuss that? Are we gonna all get together?
That's a, this is a whole
Okay.
council.
Now, the occupancy of this building is 105 people. That's with office people and everything. This room will accommodate, I have a diagram here, I come up and laid it out. 100 people.
With tables or with chairs?
With tables and chairs. Stuff like sardines.
Oh, like, so, okay, can't move.
So we also should put in there a limitation of, say, 80 people. Next thing we have to do is purchase tables, purchase chairs, purchase racks to put them on, because there is no place to put anything here.
And where we're gonna store them at?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna store it? You're gonna store them up against the wall like you
That's
put
what
that
we need to
table?
dis- we
and
need
Put
to
marks
dis-
on this wall already?
We need to discuss this evening.
This has to be discussed if we want to rent it. I don't think, in my own opinion, to the extent that some people think, oh, we can rent this out and maybe pay somebody building off. No. We're not going to be able to do that. You have a fire hall down there that sits vacant almost this
I think
year and the year
that
before, almost 90% of the time. It holds 450 people, and there's nobody in there. And I think for what we have here right now is more than apropos for what we need. And I would like to put renting this building out on the back burner for a while, and let's discuss some of the pros and cons of it. I got the cons and I got the pros already. I'm ready to sit down and
Well,
talk.
I was gonna suggest, you're in the building committee, you and Henry and Kenny, get together, discuss prices.
I wanna copy that agreement, well, Carla's gonna send that to us.
And maybe by October's meeting, have something to bring back.
We'll just call each other, we know that way we'll know everybody's schedule down.
that excludes, like, we're still gonna let our senior citizens,
Yeah,
and
they're gonna,
if,
Right.
if Mickey or whoever has You used
She
to
didn't have the
do-
Girl Scouts
No, the
anymore.
Girl Scouts, but I mean, if somebody else would get it, I mean, that would not.
Yeah, a civic organization such as,
Anybody who comes into this building, senior citizens or not, we have to have some kind of an agreement. We're not gonna charge them, but for insurance wise, if somebody would fall and they can say, we fell in here, and you're in a meeting with what and so forth, you have to prove it. And just to have it on file, have an agreement saying.
But I just wanted to clarify for Bertie that that's not, we're not gonna say you can't use it.
No,
That's-
I brought it, like I said, she's ready to go, everything's here to go, she wants it. And I said, after Wednesday, she's gonna be the first person to get a key. After me.
Wow.
Andrew, can you, per Henry's thought there about having them sign something, can you draft up something that any body of people who come here, that their representative has to sign to release the borough of liability? I mean, you know, it's just nothing against you guys, but we have to protect ourselves.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it would be different than that agreement, it's not a rental agreement per se, it's just a,
it's a consent agreement.
yeah. Right.
That's basically the same agreement without any money being paid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read, yeah, I'll read that over then, after you send it to Carly.
But if you read it, but pretty much everything you
Okay.
can possibly think
All right,
of is
good.
covered.
All right. Cleaning. Paul, you were supposed to look into some.
Well, and I didn't advertise it.
But we have two people that are interested. Carly has both of them, so I mean, is it something, do we have to advertise it, or can we just, is it something that has to be advertised, being it's just a?
I think to make it fair, you should advertise it, you know. What I'm looking at is, you know, whoever does it